Sometimes I think we got to ask ourselves that question: do we want to stay on the shallow side of life or move to the deep end of life in which God becomes our only lifeguard?
Willing to be yourself in the sight of people, no matter what people think. I think that's what it's all about. Welcome back to another banger, baby. Welcome back, all of my YouTube family. Y'all know how we do. Unhooking from this Amazon trailer. And guess what? My new trailer right there. How simple is that? To me, that's as simple as it gets. So a lot of y'all already know how we do. For all the newcomers, look, welcome to the channel. We talk about the spiritual things, we talk about trucking, we talk about everything relating to life and how we live in it. But right now, I'm about to back into this trailer. We about to hook up, and I want to do a part 2 to spiritual warfare. So look, y'all stay tuned for today's video. Make sure you like, you comment, subscribe, and hey, as I always say, don't forget to return. Let's get it. So we literally don't have that much time. I think I got about 2 hours on the clock. We actually gonna hook up these lines, and we're going to get rolling. Pretty simple. I want to talk to us about spiritual warfare. The last video, I hope it helped the people that watched it. I'm thankful. I want to, build on that a little bit, because a lot of us really don't understand that when it comes to how, being a trucker or just being somebody on the road in general, that you can be a vessel for the warfare of another driver. And it's funny because since that last video, make sure that's all the way on. Since that last video, right, y'all know some more things that happened, and I kid you not, to the point where I literally needed to almost take a video of the smart drive, which, sometimes this technology can let you down, and sometimes it can really, be a benefit. But literally, as I was driving, this is empty right here. As I was driving, literally, somebody or the same, if y'all noticed and y'all watched the last video, right? The same ice chunks that was in Texas, close to Denton, Texas, that caused the windshield to be bust. And I got the video on my Instagram pinned to my post if you go check that out. Literally, I'm in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, mind y'all, it's not cold. I mean, it's winter, but right now, like, it's about 50-some degrees. Then it was somewhere around the same amount. I was going back and forth to Louisville, right? And I kid you not, here comes a truck coming out my left lane. No other trucks around. And literally, ice chunks start flying off this guy's truck. And what happens is they start hitting all around the truck. They start hitting all around the truck, right? And literally, I'm on the phone with my wife, and she's like, "What's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I think I am." So I started looking around, and he's flying by me, right? And as he's flying by, I see these ice chunks coming off his truck, and I start backing up. And they're coming toward the truck, and I thought about it because it was so traumatic. But I thought to myself, there's no other trucks around here that got ice, that got snow. Mind you, I spent the night near Louisville, Kentucky, because I had a load in Hebron, Kentucky. So literally, where did this truck come from, and how did this truck begin to have ice chunks that was coming toward the same windshield that once broke my windshield and almost caused the truck to do anything? There's real spiritual warfare. We got to be very cognitive. You see, what the Lord reveals when you begin to build a relationship with God is this. Either this lifetime is 100% natural and no spirituality, or either this lifetime is 100% spirituality and we just are in the natural, which means that it can be seen. And I think that's one of the toughest things for us to believe sometimes, because when you sit back and you really think about, life, everything that's seen seems to be real. But really, the things that aren't seen are more real. And the Bible tells us that. For us, the invisible things, that's eternal. But beyond that experience, after the spiritual warfare video 1, I've had 2 cars that have chosen to throw objects at the car. Luckily, I didn't have the window down because it could have hit me while driving, because people have road rage. Just imagine this. If somebody don't know the Lord, they're driving a car, and they want you to be in this big truck and speed all the way by them and go so fast, and you just trying to be safe for everybody behind you, or even everybody, when they're doing construction and things like that. By the time you get out of construction and they come around you, now they throwing their middle finger up at you, they cussing at you, they swearing at you, and it's like, but I'm doing that to keep us all safe. I'm operating a big old 53-foot truck. So they throw objects at you, they cuss at you. And I just sit there and think about it. Sometimes people can be so mad that you can be a product of somebody else's, what's going on within their spirit, because their spirit may be malicious or they just may be mad that day. And we've seen horrific things happen. And this is why I'm bringing this up, because spiritual warfare in this truck industry is so real. I say it like this. When I check the statistics as I go on, because I don't want this video to be too long, it's the simplicity of certain things, right? The road in Louisville, I believe I-65 has about 50,000 to 70,000 drivers in a week or in a day, something like that. It's a lot. But you just imagine if one driver decides to wake up mad or wake up drunk or wake up not in his right mind, the whole infrastructure of the road and the cars coming behind it is affected. The whole, scenario of the road. And I think about it. This is why God has certain people that's in Christ planted in the truck industry, because there's so many attacks of the enemy that happens on the road. Why? Because the travel of mankind is through vehicles, through trucks, through bikes, through whatever it may be. So when you sit back and think about spiritual warfare, you got to sometimes simplify it. Like if somebody did want to cause havoc, if somebody did want to cause, malicious thing to happen, I mean, the roadways will be one of the highest ways. And that's why praying for, your neighbor drivers, praying for the roads you enter is so important. I want us to think about this story. The lady that was hanging from the bridge in Louisville, Kentucky. I've been in Kentucky the past few trips, literally. That same bridge. And I want you to think about something, right? I think it was a 4-car accident. The truck was literally hanging on. People, they called it luck. I call it the grace of God. I call it the power of God. He's holding it up, because if she go in that water, it's over. But I sit there and I think about it, right? How the Bible reminds us, as for all of those that's out there in Christ that watches this channel, how we're the salt of the world. So imagine if I'm going around that same road and I'm laying salt down, and it's savoring a person who's gonna come and get in a, let's just say, because we know when we put salt down, salt gets put down when there's things that are slippery that can cause a car, to get an accident. So say every time I'm coming on this road, because the Lord has allowed me with that Amazon account to come on this same bridge, and I'm laying salt. By the time she come in a slippery slope of an attack of the devil, an attack of the enemy, an attack of the adversary that wants mankind to die, wants mankind to suffer, she now does go, but the salt keeps her. Because if it wasn't salt, she'd have went all the way over. So now she's being held up by the same salt that God used another man to lay down. And I just think that's so amazing. The simplicity in that. She's safe, she's sound. And beyond that, there's so many things that can happen in these trucks. So many different attacks. When you think about the winds, the high winds, a lot of us don't even understand something, that God is in control of the winds, but there's also other beings that can cause a strong wind. And that's why the Bible told us that, the angels are holding the four winds of the earth. It's many different things. That's why I bring the Bible and I bring these different things to the trucking channel, because we got to be very cognitive, especially all my truckers out there, that we're not just driving, like a chicken with our head cut off, that there's things happening around us. There's many different scenarios that can be taking place if we don't really know the Lord and the Lord isn't keeping us. The Bible tells us for this, because the Lord's mercies that we're not consumed. And that's why I come on here to say, through the attacks that I've gotten in trucking, through the many different aspects that come through trucking, greed. When I think about it like this, right? Greed can cause a man to cause another car to get in an accident because he's so greedy, right? Let me just give us a scenario, and we're gonna wrap it up, right? So when you think about it, people that get in trucking because of money. I gotta get money, I gotta get my money. I'm going 80 down the road, making all the drivers on my left and right unsafe. Because he's serving that money, he can now be a weapon or a tool in the hand of who loves money, who is the one who is greedy of gain. Because we know we can't love money and God, so we got to understand something. It's not always about money in this industry. It's not always about money. I mean, obviously you need to make money, but it's so much bigger than that. We're dealing with real humans every day that we get on this road. And trust me, all of us want to make it back home, our family safe. But we know in this world, you got somebody that's positive, but you also got a negative. You got light, but you also got darkness. You got truth and you got lies. You got all of these different, aspects of humanity working either against one another or with one another. And that's why I come on here to remind us that there's real spiritual warfare. There's real spiritual warfare in here. There's real spiritual warfare, not from a religious aspect, but from a spirituality aspect. That there's real spirits that want to see you tormented. There's real spirits that want to see you fall. And I'm coming to bring us that, out of simplicity of what it comes from. And I want us to be reminded that no matter what, like the Bible always reminds us, no weapon formed against us shall prosper for those that are in Christ. Why? Because he is the one that can take that same weapon and shoot it back at the one who actually brought it to you. And I say this, that after that encounter with the objects hitting the truck, it reminded me of Psalm 91. And we know what Psalm 91 says. So Psalm 91 literally reminds us, and I had to read this 3 times, because when things start coming at you in this truck industry, you know, it can be one object that can cause a big havoc. It can be one wrong, you know, strong wind that can cause this truck to tilt and turn, especially when you're empty. But I begin to recite this because this is so important. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shall you trust. His truth shall be your shield and your buckler. You shall not be afraid for terror by night, nor for the arrows that fly by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that walketh at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come into thee. Only with your eyes shall you behold and see the reward of the wicked, because you have made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, your habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge to keep thee in all thy ways. I just think this is so important. You know, Psalm 91 is so important for any trucker. And I promise you this, I tell you no lies, that these things are real. You know, we got to be very cognitive of these type of things and be more of a betterment to the roads that we own than a hindrance. I say it like this. I'm the inspired trucker. I'm here to inspire y'all with the living inspired word. And I'm here to inspire y'all with my life. I say this, stay on the journey and continue to follow me as I follow Christ. And guess what? I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Find who you are, live in spirit, and find peace.
Our lives are meant to be legacies for somebody else, for generations to come. And we got to continue to walk after that and do things that are courageous.